Hey everyone, and welcome to PGN Live. It is Thursday, January 15th, 2026. Let's go. Halfway into the month already. I've always felt that time goes by kind of fast. Faster when you're having fun. So I guess that explains why it's going so fast. I'm having a great time putting up these daily gaming history videos, doing the once a month Super Mario Galaxy movie and the Legend of Zelda movie updates, talking with you all on these live streams, playing games, and then always looking forward to tomorrow and what tomorrow brings. With new news, video game announcements, an upcoming direct, you name it. But welcome all in. Let me get this pop-out chat ready to roll. There we go. Let's see who is here this fine morning. Oh, wow. We've already got some green in the house. Let's go. We've got some green super early. Before I could even open up the pop-out chat. That might be the fastest ever. Hold on a second. This pop-out chat's doing its own thing. Hang on. Gamebird Classic was the recipient of one gifted membership from Ash Gaming. Big thank you, Ash Gaming 17, for that awesome $1 contribution towards this stream. What an awesome start. Thank you so much, Ash. Geez, before I could even open it up, right away. What awesome support. Thank you, Ash, for that gifted membership that went to Gamebird Classic, that $1 white belt tier. That's exciting to see. Oh, actually, I can update this live. I just updated this today, this morning, 385, so we're at 386 members. Yvonne Francois is here saying, hi, Paul. Hi, Yvonne. Paladin, good morning. Good morning, Paladin. Kong Donk 69 saying, hello all. Hello, Kong Donk. Welcome on in. How are you doing today? I Byzantium. Happy PGN Live and Animal Crossing Day. That's right. We talked about it yesterday, but we could talk about it more this morning / afternoon, depending on where you are watching from. But today is Animal Crossing Day. I have not yet played with the new update, but I probably will at some point today. I mean, I definitely will. Just when? Maybe after this PGN Live session or something like that. Who is looking forward to it? Half of you. Yeah. Half of you as of yesterday. That is what our poll suggested, that half were going to be checking it out in at least some capacity, whether it was just enjoying the free content via Zelda, Lego, and Splatoon, or roughly the other half of that being, oh no, I'm going to actually upgrade to the Nintendo Switch 2 version. And some within there, if I'm not mistaken, were like, oh yeah, and it'll be my first time playing it. Or maybe not. That was a part of the poll, though. And the other half was like, no, I'm not trying it out. Something like that, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, we could always look back at yesterday's poll, but yeah. It looked like a good amount of people were excited for the Animal Crossing update and that they would be checking it out in some capacity. Small Little Man is here. Hello there. Mohammed Taresh, I want the Duskbloods trailer soon. Dang, me too. When we saw it last at the Game Awards, it really was just the existing shots that we got from it in the April Nintendo Direct for Nintendo Switch 2 back last year, and nothing new since. So, we're approaching 10 months next month. It'll be 10 months since we last saw something on the game that was new beyond its debut. That would be a really good one to get out in February. I don't think you close the direct with it again, but I think you do give it a nice prominent space. You build up the hype and you deliver this epic trailer, you know? It's exciting. It's going to be a big one this year. Small Little Man says, you need NSO to play the retro games in the Animal Crossing update. It's not the end of the world, but it's a little strange. Yeah, I mean, it's a little throwback to the N64 GameCube Animal Crossing days. However, back then, you didn't need, an additional save file of some Mario game or something like that, of a Donkey Kong game to unlock, these classic consoles, whereas now you do. It would give more value to people if it was included, but on the other side, it gives more value to NSO by having it. But yeah, I could see that. Yeah, if you didn't need it, it would be cooler for more. Although at this point, probably a good portion of the Animal Crossing people that are playing do have NSO, because a lot of them, I imagine, do want to experience the online component of it. Otherwise, you'd be playing Animal Crossing without the online aspect, and that's certainly fine. But yeah, if I had to guess, I'd say that more than not do have NSO already. But yeah, I got you. Paladin says, started a new island with the Switch 2 edition. It's going to be a fun thing to enjoy in the long run. Yeah, and it'll probably last you well into when the next Animal Crossing game eventually drops on NS2. We don't know when that's coming out. It could be next year, but if that's the case, you're going to have one whole year of playing this Animal Crossing game again with new, easier terraforming, more things to do, to build with, to play with, and looking better than ever, running better than ever. So, not bad. Even if it comes out next year, you might get another 100 hours of joy out of something. For what? Another $5 if you decide to upgrade? Certainly cool. Mohammed, I have 700 hours on Mario Kart. Wow. In Mario Kart World? That's really cool. That's 700 hours in 7 months. That's 100 hours a month. That's not bad. That's like 3 hours and 20 minutes a day of Mario Kart on average. That's pretty substantial. Lily Young 1002 is a member for 5 months. Sorry, 4 months. Welcome back, Lily Young. Thank you for upping your membership here at that white belt tier now for 4 months. Joyce J 69. Hey Paul, hey y'all, working and lurking. That's right. Steak 1024. Hey Paul and chat. Hey Steak, welcome. Lao Boys 411. Good day. Look, the Final Fantasy VII remake coming to Switch 2 port. Yep, it's coming soon. Thursday? Is it this Thursday? Jeez, that crept up on us fast. I mean, I have the game pre-ordered. If I'm not mistaken, I have it being shipped to me, not a pickup. Yeah. So I'll probably get it in the mail within a couple of days if it is this weekend. If it is this week, I should say. Wait a minute. Today's Thursday. Wait, is it released today? Oh man, I slipped, or the date has slipped me all of a sudden. Is it the 15th or the 22nd? For some reason I thought it was the 17th, but clearly it's not Saturday. Huh. Yeah, it's among us. We'll see next week if Nintendo reveals the Direct. I don't know if they will announce a Direct next week if it's coming in February, like give us a 3-week head start or something. I'm not sure about that, but unless if you're suggesting that next week might be the Direct itself, that's a possibility. I think they'll do it like February 10th or 11th, but I wouldn't mind a January Direct, We'll see. Andy DeVirgo says, hi there, newcomer here. I love what I'm hearing today. Do you do daily streams? Yes. Welcome, first of all, Andy DeVirgo. Hope I'm saying that right. welcome. I'm glad that you're liking what you hear so far. And yes, I stream almost daily. Oh, usually, gosh, Monday through Friday mornings around 10 a.m. Pacific time. Not necessarily all 5 days, but oh, four ish a week is seemingly the normal. Every Thursday morning is a designated stream where we go over the Famitsu sales charts and what did each system sell, how well did each game do in the top 10 from Japan from like the week prior when that data comes out, which is live Thursday morning. And then every other day, it's either looking up at some shorts, reviewing some news on X, talking about games in general, what we're hyped about, what we're actively playing, maybe some relevant thing drops live during stream, so we'll check that out. Yeah. Uh, as far as am I a game reviewer? Yes and no. I don't typically review games consistently. I do have a platform where I do review, sometimes on uh, between X and then on YouTube as well. I used to review more back in the day, but occasionally I'll write something up and give a review on a game that like uh, left me very impressed or something. However, even if I'm not creating review videos regularly, I play quite a few games, so I usually have something to say on what's out there or what I'm playing now. So hopefully that answered kind of some of those questions. Look like the Tomb Raider and God of War getting adaptation. Yeah, yeah, we've got an actor set for Kratos in God of War, and we have our actress in her Lara Croft getup. So that's new and pretty cool to see. I hope they both perform well. I hope both series are great. It's going to be interesting. You know, this will be our third live action Lara Croft because we had Angelina Jolie back in the day in a couple of films. We had the Lara Croft reboot, which I also liked quite a bit. And then we're having a new TV series, streaming series. And then God of War, this will be the first official live action, streaming Amazon Prime series of it. So, yeah, it'll be pretty cool. Like gaming is big. I mean, gaming's always been big, but it's just getting bigger. The franchises coming out of gaming are getting bigger. Hollywood has tried for years to make adaptations of games into film, and some were more successful than not. We had Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Super Mario Brothers back in the early 90s, and over the years you've had Doom and Prince of Persia, Tomb Raider again, Uncharted. And then you got into this newer era in the last several years where we've had some big hits like Pokemon Detective Pikachu, Sonic the Hedgehog 1, 2, and 3, the Super Mario Brothers movie, the Minecraft movie. Like, these are all big, well received, well liked releases. And now we're getting the Super Mario Galaxy movie, a Sonic the Hedgehog 4, a new Street Fighter film. We had Mortal Kombat, we're getting a Mortal Kombat 2, and we're getting a Zelda movie. Like, wow, that's a lot of stuff. And the new Tomb Raider series over here, God of War over here. We had Halo, we had The Last of Us. We're getting more of The Last of Us in the not too distant future, hopefully. And Twisted Metal, Fallout, jeez. On the anime side, Castlevania, Devil May Cry. Woo, there's a lot. I like it. Lily Young, you're having lunch. I hope you enjoyed that lunch. FF7 is the 22nd. Thank you, Paladin. So that's next Thursday. All right. That makes more sense. That's good. Sonic the Hedgehog 35th anniversary. Let's go. Usually the direct is announced 24 to 48 hours in advance. Yeah, stay 10/24. That's what I'm thinking. That's why I'm like, February 9th, I think, is a Monday. Let me see if that's right. Yeah, February 9th is a Monday. So I was saying I'm gonna go with oh the wait, hold on. February 9th. Yeah, February 9th is a Monday. So I was going with the 10th or the 11th. That was my guess. Relatively safe for the direct. Maybe they announce it on Monday and it comes out Tuesday, or now announce it Monday, it's Wednesday, or Tuesday, Wednesday, or Tuesday and Thursday. Like, yeah, it's going to be somewhere in there. Then again, it could be the following week, but we don't know. What's up, Crazy Scoth? Andy DeVirgo, cool, appreciate a gamer around my age. Heck yeah. Good, good. Thanks for being here. Next week, New Life is Strange game comes out and will be coming to Switch 2. Awesome. Pokemon Fan 34, hello, welcome. Hopefully I didn't miss much. Nope, didn't miss too much. We've been talking for like 15 minutes. You probably came in like 3 minutes ago or something like that, I'm guessing. Lily Young did enjoy her lunch at a Nebraska restaurant. Cool. Poke Park Kanto in Tokyo introduced starter-themed drinks. That's cool. I don't think it will be that week, the week of Mario Fever. Yeah, Mario Fever's coming out soon. Mario Tennis. Nintendo Switch 2 becomes the fastest selling system in Japan. Yes. 7 months is all it took to do 4 million. I think it will be the first week of February or the week before Pokemon Presents. Yeah, there's got to be a little bit of time in between the Nintendo Direct and the Pokemon Presents, right? Pokemon Presents, is it set for February 27th? February's going to be big. You've got Pokemon. You've got likely Nintendo Direct. You've got Zelda Anniversary. You've got that 2-month mark before the Super Mario Galaxy movie, in which usually by the 2-month mark, studios are pumping out the last main trailer. So I think we get the last big trailer for the Super Mario Galaxy movie next month. And then what will follow are a couple of shorts, mini TV spots, little things that give you a couple seconds of footage beyond this last trailer. Because they don't want to spoil everything, but they want to continuously build hype and give out little morsels of new out there, you know? Will they try to get the Direct out before Mario Tennis so that they could give it one more push before release? Quite possibly. There's always this little bit of a thought of having a Nintendo Direct right before or right after a game that's dropping like that week, you know? Do you take attention away from the game, or do you build up the game? You could say, well, why? Obviously, you'd want to build up the game, but could a Direct that looks too good say, I was going to get this Mario Tennis game, but like I only have so much of a budget. Look at all these cool games coming out in just a few more months. I'll wait, right? Or, ooh, there's stuff coming out in the pipeline, but this tennis game that they showed off now, that's got me hyped for something to play now. I want this. That's what you hope for, right? That's what you want if you're Nintendo. So if you, right before, like on the 11th of February or on the 10th, which is 1 or 2 days before, depending, before Mario Tennis Fever drops on February 12th, show off some stuff, like an update on Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, a first look at, a new 3D Mario game dropping later in the year, and then one last push. And please enjoy Mario Tennis Fever, which releases later this week. worldwide exclusively for the Nintendo Switch 2. Like, that could work. Or do you let the game come out, sell to its initial base in the first week, and then you have the direct the following week on like the 18th or the 17th, right? 6 days, 5 days later. We hope that you have been enjoying playing Mario Tennis Fever exclusively for Nintendo Switch 2, out now worldwide. Please look forward to what's coming next from Mario later in the year. There's a fine way to navigate through all of that. Oh, the Cringe Prophet is here. Hello, PGN and chat. Hello, the Cringe Prophet. Hope everyone is having a great day. Thank you. I hope you're having a good day. I think if we get a direct in February, it will be the first week of February or the week before the Presents. Okay. Or they could do the end of this month, maybe. It would be cool if they did an open court beta demo for Mario Tennis, yeah. Nintex2Dope says, hello all, I've missed every live stream this week. Ugh. LOL. But as for yesterday's year in review, oh my gosh, we have a winner. Nintex2Dope. 125 games, 2,242 hours. That is the winner. We had a couple of people in the 900s. One person had like 1,500 hours from just a couple of games, 15 or 18, and then a likely 300 or something like that, I think, from the other titles. So I think we thought in the stream that they must have had between 18 and 2,100 hours. You're saying 2,242 though. That is the highest amount shared on this stream. That is awesome. Oh man. Woo! Nintex2Dope, what are your top 3 games in these 2,242 hours? What are your top 3? I'm going to guess Mario Kart World is one of them. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's pretty awesome. Steak says, Paul, no people want Mario announcement in the next Direct, but what do you think they could do for Mario Day on March 10th? Oh, good point. Oh, man. Nintendo plays up on it nowadays, you know? They do. If they don't... If they don't give us a final trailer for the Super Mario Galaxy movie in the month of February, and I'm not even saying like for sure during the Direct, I don't think it has to be during the Direct, I think it could be on its own, then I could see March 10th being the final big trailer for the Super Mario Galaxy movie. I think it makes sense that if there's going to be some Yoshi and the Mysterious Book footage to show off, you do it at the Direct, because it is Yoshi that's a part of Mario, but has really become its own thing too. It stands on its own. So I don't know if you put that on Mario Day. The Super Mario Brothers Wonder Flower, you remember that? It could possibly get some attention on March 10th. If Nintendo wants to stretch out and give you, bang for your buck and not all on one day, they perhaps potentially disappoint people by not having a brand new 3D Mario game shown off at the Direct, but they blow people away by having a new Mario game shown off on March 10th. Or new Mario Lego set on March 10th. Lots of possibilities. Nintendo likes to shock and surprise. They like to shock and awe. They like to keep people always getting something. And that's really what I appreciate a lot from them. It's not just 3 Directs throughout the year, boom, done. No, they have constant updates on X, new games shown off on different social media platforms not related to a Direct, like Splatoon Raiders was, or like Paper Mario Color Splash? No, Paper Mario, the Origami King was, Origami King a few years ago. So they've been known to do that kind of stuff. They play up on, Mario Day, etc. So I could see them, yeah, not giving us everything at the direct because they have something in store for us on Mario Day 2. It just keeps the fun around longer. It keeps the fans engaged longer and constantly getting Nintendo in your newsfeed. Boom, 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 boom. So it's not just like 3 heavy hitting days a year. No. It's like if you're a Nintendo fan, almost every week of the year you have something to look forward to, whether it's a new game to play, which they do multiple months of the year, first party titles, or many weeks of the year, just having something fun to talk about. That's really cool. Final Fantasy III Remake coming for PC 2027. They won't have the direct the week of the Pokemon Presents. No Pokemon Present is something different. Yep. HMod661. Hello, Paul and all. Now that's a real gamer. Yeah, Joycey, regarding Nintex 2 Dope. That's a lot. Did anyone play the Animal Crossing 3.0 update? Not yet for me. No confirmation yet on Pokemon. So many anniversaries this year. Nintendo decide which one's going to do. Yeah, they're not going to highlight everything, but we'll get some celebrations across some other franchises. By the way, thank you all for being here right now. We've got 33 people watching now. Less than half an hour into the stream. Awesome to see that. We've already got 19 likes, so big thank you to the 33 people watching now in the first 26 minutes, giving these 19 likes of yours up. Thank you. Then text you dope, you gotta go check your top 3. Hold your controller. Yeah, definitely. J Biggs, Mr. NY for life. Hey, my friends of the Galeverse. Hey, J Biggs, welcome. Good to see you here today. The flower, yeah. I want Mario Everything Else All-Stars, 3D Land, New Super Mario 1, 2, and Wii. That kind of collection. That'd be cool. I think we'll get another Mario collection of some sort eventually. I don't think Nintendo will ever fully leave something in the past, Nintendo fans waiting for a new 3D game. Yeah. It's coming. It's going to be good when it comes. AJ Rax 0440. Hi, Paul. Hi, AJ Rax. Good to see you here. Thank you. Nintex 2 Dope's top 3 games were Tears of the Kingdom with 171 hours, Pinball FX with 135, and Apex Legends with 95. That's cool. I was wrong. Mario Kart World wasn't one of them. That's cool. That's a good list. Alexis does Roblox and Go Animate. Hi, PGN. Hi, Alexis. J Biggs, nope. I will never play Animal Crossing in any form. Okay, I think you were talking to someone else. Alex, in gaming history, October 14th, 2010, Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja 2 launched for the PS3 and Xbox 360 in North America. That's cool. AJ Rax says, the Zelda anniversary will get a global celebration. Dragon Quest will be celebrated in Japan. Yeah, Dragon Quest 7, that remake is going to be a big deal. The Zelda 40th anniversary is going to be loud and wild. I think so. I know some people are keeping their expectations low because if you don't build up the hype yourself for anything to happen, and if nothing happens, you can only be like, yeah, I didn't think so. Oh, well. But if something happens, you're like, oh, cool. Woo, I wasn't expecting that. Let's go. On the flip side, if you're like, oh, man, I think we're getting everything. Come on. And nothing happens. Oh. Or not enough happens. Oh. I think something's going to happen. Personally, I'm an optimist. But also, I'm a realist. I think Zelda is a very big franchise. I know it has sold the best ever this past generation. 40 is the biggest number yet. It's considerable. Not many franchises last this long. They are at the highlight of their 4 decades. They've got a movie on the horizon. They're in a new era of console, kicked off a new 10th generation. I think it's just safer to say that they will do something for this 40th anniversary between February 2026 and August 2027. We're at the very least getting a movie in that later half of that, you know, 17-month time frame to celebrate the 40th anniversary. And I think we will get some more too. What? I don't know. But I'm happy for anything. I'm happy for anything. Because I love Zelda. It's one of my top IPs, you know? Nintex2Dope says, LOL, Mario Kart World is only around 40 to 50. I have still been playing on Switch 1 primarily this year. I have so many games to play on it. Switch 2 is just for Switch 2 games as I didn't transfer games. Yeah, I do remember you saying that if I'm not mistaken, you would only be using your Nintendo Switch 2 for Nintendo Switch 2 games. Does that mean that you don't take advantage of the improvements? Like Tears of the Kingdom, despite having a Nintendo Switch 2, did you continue to play it on NS even when NS2 was out to not enjoy like the 4K 60 benefits of it? Or did you like play Tears of the Kingdom before NS2 came out in 2026 and it's hours, or sorry, in 2025 and it's hours, you know, of availability? Yeah, but I do remember that, like, no transferring. So I guess that might answer my question, that you played it on the base console. Have I played Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 2? I want to say yes, but the Naruto Shippuden game I played was on Wii. So it might not have been Shippuden 2. It might have been the first one. But it was between 2007 and 10. So I don't know if I played that specific Ultimate Ninja Storm 2. But some of the Naruto games I played back in the day. Very little. I'm not super familiar with the franchise. Nintex2Dope, I will get heavily into Switch 2 this year as I dwindle my Switch 1 library down. Hey, at least you are chopping away at that backlog, which it could be very real. I don't think they will skip Pokemon Presents on the 30th anniversary. Oh no, like, even if they don't have a date yet for the Pokemon Presents, they will have one. Let me see. Do they have a date yet? No, I don't think so. There is no date yet, but they're celebrating the 30th anniversary. So we'll get something. I mean, we already started celebrating Pokemon. We got the Lego. If you're a big Pokemon fan, you got those Lego sets. Or at least one of the 3, right? I mean, you could be a Pokemon fan and not have picked up those Lego sets, but if you're a pretty big Pokemon fan, I think you probably got one of those 3, you know? There's different type of fans, though. There are some fans that will eat and absorb everything Pokemon, Mario, Zelda, Street Fighter, etc. They release a new shirt, a new collab, a new jewelry set, a new watch, shoes, socks, a backpack, a fanny pack, a water bottle, a game, a movie, a comic, a manga, a poster, a toy, an amiibo. You will get it of that IP because you love that IP. You'll buy the statue of it. You'll buy the blanket of it, the stuffy. It doesn't matter. You're a massive fan of that IP. You'll do it. Then there's people that are like really big fans of the IP, but just for the game or just for that movie, and they won't explore the rest. And there are people that are somewhere in between, this way, that way. Like, yeah, there is no right or wrong. There is no good or bad. It's just everyone's a little bit different when it comes to that kind of stuff. There are a few franchises that definitely I will enjoy more than just where did they originate? Where do they come from? You know? And some more than others in that case. Nintex 2 Dope. Nope, I don't do any Switch 2 improvements. It's a nice feature, but I don't need any of that as I'm fine with how Switch 1 games look and perform. A lot of people complain about Switch 1 performance. See, I'm glad that you don't complain about the Switch 1 performance because by and large, I didn't have a problem with Nintendo Switch games and how they played or performed. I know some people that complain about, like, oh man, I wanted to play tongue-tied. I wanted to play Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, but could not get past the frame rate. Dude, I don't know what you're talking about. I played through that whole game quite a bit solo player, but a good amount with my son as my player too. And on his file, most of his file, I was his player too for that game. And we had a fantastic time together, whereas some people couldn't even handle a little bit of drop here and there in the solo campaign. I had a wonderful time playing 2-player with my son. No complaints. I played through all of Doom 2016 when it released in 2017 on Nintendo Switch. And I'm like, people complain that I can't play that version of Doom. I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? It's a fantastic game. So, shout outs to you, Nintex 2 Dope, on being fine with Nintendo Switch 1 performance. Because it is fine. You know, they do play better on Nintendo Switch 2, but, you know, that's one of the interesting things about this new gen. We have more power in comparison to the year that we're living in. Nintendo Switch 2 is more up on modern tech than NS was back in 2017. So I think we're going to have a very competitive generation from Nintendo and their output over these next 7 or so years. By the way, we've got 38 people watching now. Heck yeah. Thank you for being here. Oh, you know what? I gotta drop this link in the chat. Today in gaming history, January 15th, 2007. WarioWare Smooth Moves launched for the Wii in North America. Let's drop that in the chat with our new fancy pinned comment feature. Boom! Pinned a message. If y'all don't mind, open up another window for a second, click that link, like that video, drop a comment. I'd appreciate it. We've got 38 people watching, 23 likes. Big thank you for being here. Fire Legend says, good day, Paul. Can't wait for the new Direct summer game of 2026. Oh, I'm hyped. In gaming history, November 17th, 2023. Okay, so a couple of months ago, Naruto Cross Boruto Ultimate Ninja Storm Connections launched for the Xbox One Series, PS5, PS4, Nintendo Switch worldwide. That's cool. The Cringe Prophet. I remember playing a ton of Naruto Clash of Ninja Revolution 2 on the Wii with my brothers back in the day. Cool, cool. JM Powers 83. Hi, Paul and everyone. Hello, JM Powers. Nintex Dope games, but most of those issues are fixed with updates. But most people only complain about launch issues. AOC runs great with no issues or frame drop. I played it last year. All I heard for years is that the frame rate was horrible and unplayable. Just not true now. Not true at all! Absolutely. Pokemon fan, I am more for the games. Huddy40. Welcome, Huddy. Yo, Paul, seeing people online talking about how the Switch 2 holiday sales were down 35% compared to Switch 1, but they never provide a data source. What's your insight on Switch 2 holiday sales? Well, I know that in Japan alone, Huddy, Nintendo Switch 2 sold like 830,000 units in the month of December. That's fantastic. Almost a freaking million in Japan alone. Now, the rest of the world's data has not come out as fast, But are you telling me that the rest of the world bombed, to which it was like 1 million total? Okay, so 830,000 was Japan alone, and only 170,000 across Australia, all of Africa, all of Europe, Brazil, all of South America, Canada, Mexico, United States, other Asian countries, other territories in the world. Like, come on. It didn't do that. I received 15 million by December 5th. I can't see the system being any less than 15.8 million worldwide. Personally, tracking what I've tracked, looking at the Amazon charts and how things sold, yeah, maybe Nintendo Switch 2 didn't do as well as Nintendo Switch in its, December 2017 timeframe when it was out for its first holiday season. It cost more. It wasn't on sale in quite the way that like PlayStation 5 was during the month. It's more expensive in general. There are tariffs. Economy in general does cost more, etc., right? Perhaps it didn't have, the equivalent of Super Mario Odyssey coming out close to the holidays because it did have Donkey Kong Bonanza earlier, but that was closer to launch than holidays. It did have the big Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, but Metroid doesn't catch people into buying the system quite the same way as Mario or Zelda, But my range was 16 to 17.5. I can't see it doing less than 15.8. So if I'm wrong about my 16 to 17.5, I still can't see it doing less than 15.8 because it did 15 by December 5th. And you would say, well, that would mean that, yeah, the rest of the world didn't do as well as Japan, respectively, but it would have to do quite bad in December globally to do less than 15.8 by the end of the year. Now, maybe, but I just don't see that. Now, I'm not saying it did 18 plus. I would be shocked and very happy, but I'm still staying pretty firm with my 16 to 17.5. If I had to play it a little bit on the safer side, I would like it to do 16.75. That's just right in between my estimation. But if I had to be on the safer side, I'd be like 16.2. And if it did 16.2, and if it did 10.36 previously, that's still a very solid, 5.9 million for the last 3 months of the year. And that's quite good. That's still like an average of 1.9 million a month or something. Yeah, which it doesn't quite work out that way, but like, no, Nintendo Switch 2 is doing fine. We're actually going to go over the sales in just a bit. I realized that we went 42 minutes in this stream without going over the sales data. We're going to do that right now. Let me catch up on the chat real quick, though. David Patterson, good afternoon. Then texted up exactly. Paul, Age of Calamity was flawless to me as well. Heck yeah. It was one of my top picks for Game of the Year that year. Eco Tank 420. Same goes for Tears of the Kingdom. I played the whole thing on my day one Switch just fine. Does it look better on Switch 2? Of course. But all Switch games, for the most part, are still playable on Switch 1. Absolutely. AJ Rex. Already did, thank you. But Paul, Antarctica sold 0 Switch 2, so Nintendo's doomed. Yeah, we got to get those Antarctic sales up on Nintendo Switch 2. Or maybe 2 were sold according to the Text 2 Dope, maybe. Here in the US, the economy sucks and prices are going up. People may not be able to afford a Switch 2 because they have to pay rent, their bills, buy clothes, buy food, etc. That's why holiday sales were down. I mean, people are still going to buy their entertainment, but if everything is up and if the price is going up too much on other things, and including like cost of living, important stuff, livelihood, and the pay is not going up enough to make up for it, you slowly start to whittle out what's not a necessity anymore. And sometimes that is entertainment. But most people will still find a way how to be entertained. Some people might be still happy enough with their Nintendo Switch, don't need to make the jump. Some might be just waiting for that next big Mario or Zelda. And then some will benefit from receiving some money back from taxes, a little bit of a kickback in, the springtime. There will also be hype all year round, folks. The Super Mario Galaxy movie is going to be a big deal. It's going to be a 1 billion plus generating movie. We've got directs. We've got Zelda movie on the horizon for next year. Like, dude, Nintendo's fine. Don't forget, there's going to be a whole new Super Nintendo World opening up in Singapore not too long. That's going to generate some more, excitement. Globally, Nintendo is in a really good position to continue growing in really fun ways. Olympics 2026 is coming. Maybe a new Mario thing for it. Maybe. Google shows it's already sold 12.5. I checked last night. Well, I do know that Nintendo Switch 2 did pass Wii U. So yeah, it did pass Wii U already in like record-breaking time, which is wild to think. Once you have the system sales, should not be an issue. The issue people should worry about is games coming. Yeah, and it looks like we're going to get a good rollout of games for sure. As long as games keep coming, the systems will come. Yeah. Okay, cool. We are caught up live with 40 people watching now. Sorry, 43 people watching now. How about let's go over the actual sales data that some of you came here today for. And thank you for the 28 likes now. We are moving on up. Moving on up. To the east side. To the east side. All right. Here are the Famitsu sales provided right here in a nice format by Chris1964 over on the installbase forum.com forums. This data is a little bit different because it's 2 weeks worth of data. So this represents the Japanese sales data coming from Japan from December 29th through January 11th, okay? So this is 2 weeks worth. So when you see big numbers, they are accurate, but it's not from 1 week's worth. It's from 2, okay? So slightly less impressive, I guess you could say. The best-selling game of the time frame, I usually say of the week, was Mario Kart World, doing another mind-blowing 92,869 copies. You realize the game physically in Japan alone has sold 2.7 million to the Nintendo Switch 2's 4 million. That's almost 3/4 of the audience owning the game physically. When we're talking about digital sales, it's even of a higher amount. It's amazing. In second, Momotaro Dentetsu 2 for Nintendo Switch with 61,588 copies sold. In third place, Momotaro Dentetsu 2 on Nintendo Switch 2 with 52,000 copies. You add those together, you're looking at 113,000 copies, which would actually put the game over Mario Kart World if you did that. In fourth place, Pokemon Legends ZA Nintendo Switch 2 Edition, 52,360. In fifth, Pokemon Legends ZA Nintendo Switch version, doing 47,000. That's a whopping 99,000, actually 100,000 and change for Pokemon Legends ZA. Tremendous sales. In sixth place, Kirby Air Riders on Nintendo Switch 2, which did 47,712. Looking good. It's hanging in there. Donkey Kong Bonanza, also looking good, hanging in there all the way back from July, proving to be a little bit of an evergreen here. 24,974 copies is what it did on Nintendo Switch 2. Super Mario Party Jamboree, Nintendo Switch 2 Edition plus Jamboree TV, for Nintendo Switch 2, of course, sold 23,057 copies. Animal Crossing, our oldie but goodie, on the verge of turning 6, sold another 22,944 copies. And in 10th place, Minecraft on Nintendo Switch, which did 18,843 copies. That's a lot. That's a Nintendo blowout. Sometimes in the top 10, you have a mixture of, PlayStation 5 in there and Nintendo Switch, NS2. This time it was made up of just Nintendo Switch 2 and Nintendo Switch. Later on, we do get a look at the top 30. Sometimes the top 30 will be like, all right, whatever happened to Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment? Oh, okay, it's down here. Where is Ghost of Yote? Isn't that a good one? Isn't that a big one? Yeah, okay, it's down here. Metro Prime 4 Beyond, probably not going to be in the top 30 for Japan. I'm not expecting it uh, in this particular chart. But, well, that's some other little bit of news that we received is that early into Metroid Prime 4 Beyond's release, the game was somewhere over a 20-to-1 ratio between where it's selling the rest of the world and Japan's positioning. So when I did my math approximating off of the approximation of sales and the fact of that 20-to-1 multiplier of sometime before the following date, I was like, confidently, the game had to have sold between like 910 to 1.2 million or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. So the game is for sure a million seller at this point because more weeks have gone by in December. So I don't know just how high though, because that data is a little bit old that I got. Could it be a 2 million seller already? Quite possibly. It hung in there in the top of the eShop charts for quite a while. It was doing well on Amazon, so maybe. Let's go over the hardware sales, but let's go back to the chat so I could catch up on some new folks that might have come in. Was there a Mario vs. Sonic Olympics game in 2024? No. Actually, it got skipped. I don't really care, but it is odd how many people seem to want to celebrate the idea of Switch 2 failing, especially when it's clearly very successful. Huddy 40, that's true. Anytime somebody or something is too successful, I'm going to spit some knowledge right there. Anytime someone or somebody, something, whatever, is too successful, if you didn't align yourself with that philosophy, that idea, that brand, etc., and you did the other thing, and less people are caring about your thing and give too much attention to the other thing, there becomes a rivalry. There becomes a hatred. Look what happened to the Patriots. You win too many Super Bowls, you go to too many Super Bowls, other people started disliking them. Why? They didn't do anything bad to you. Jealousy starts to form. Yankees too successful. Jealousy starts to form. An actor getting too many roles in Hollywood. Hatred starts to form. Star Wars getting more traction than Star Trek. Jealousy forms. Pokemon eclipsing Digimon. Jealousy forms. Nintendo doing better than PlayStation here. Or Sony doing more than Nintendo there. Or Marvel getting a better imprint than DC in the cinematic scope here. Boy bands doing better than other boy bands in the music hemisphere, or top female singers doing better than other top female singers, and an audience giving more respect to this side, hatred forms, jealousy forms. It happens with everything. Lakers too many championships on this side. Like, it just happens with everything everywhere. If you didn't align yourself with it and you can't see the greater good in everything and just be a fan of everything. I mean, it freaking happens like with King Kong and Godzilla. In one IP, in one shared universe. If too many people are building up hype on this monster and not this one, but that one happens to be your favorite, you no longer like this one and like this one less. You like this one and start hating on this one. I've seen it happen with everything. It doesn't matter the person, the brand, the sports team, etc. It's how a lot of folks work. Because you feel like you made a poor decision in backing up your brand because more attention is going elsewhere, and it makes you feel like a little bit of an incompetent. And that's unfortunate. I think it's far greater to just have fun with freaking everything out there. Have your favorites, but you don't have to start hating the opposition, you know? Sometimes it's manufactured by just people, bots, folks that buy into the negativity. Sometimes somebody doesn't have anything truly negative to say, but take this. Someone, let's just make it hypothetical, right? Someone's a big PlayStation fan. They're talking about PlayStation. They don't really dislike Nintendo, but it's not really their thing. And they're talking about PlayStation a lot, but nobody's listening to them. Nobody cares about what they say. They get a little bit of jealous of Nintendo attention. So how do they get seen? Well, they start attacking Nintendo, and that gets them more attention. Oh, so nobody cared about when I was talking good about PlayStation, but people do care about when I talk bad about Nintendo. Huh, that's going to become my new identity. Instead of spreading more joy and goodness into the world on what I believe in, let me attack what I hate and get my attention there. It's what children do, you know? That's a very baby mentality. You're not getting attention from your parent by doing the good thing, which is coloring a nice, beautiful picture. Oh, so I'm going to color on the walls. That'll get your attention. And some folks develop that, and it carries with them into life. And then they start making all of their decisions, all of their actions are based off of this formula. Boom, mic drop. That's some real talk for you. I know it wasn't asked for, but that's just... Sometimes it comes up and Huddy 40, you made a good comment, and that's kind of my opinion on that. Let's see. Mario Kart World being an $80 game, still selling. Yep. Tabby Cat Games is here. Welcome. Terp time was good. Let's see what else we got in here. Man, I should clip that. I go off on a little bit of real talk once in a while. I feel like that could be beneficial for some folks. Maybe. Talking amongst each other back and forth. I see some people tagging one another. Cool. Chiefs, yeah. I hope DK Bonanza and Mario Kart World will reveal another DLC. Perhaps so. Terp Thigh, BJ and Pat going down for show. Literally describing loser mentality. Couldn't be me. Absolutely, Huddy. I wouldn't call a Switch 2 a failure. Absolutely not. It hasn't been out for a year yet. That's clearly a success. I'm sorry to say this, but if Nintendo wants to sell NS2 when Chrono Trigger gets announced, make it a Switch 2 bundle. That would be cool. David. Oh, I'm talking to a Pokemon fan. Chrono Trigger remake. That'd be cool. How much market price increase? Chiefs talking. Trying to scan over everything. Switch 2 has already outsold Wii U. True, big time Jimmy Jim. Sorry, big time Timmy Jim. True. Hating Nintendo is yeah, that's a weird energy to be given off. It's very true, honey. Like, man, I guess it depends on what you have going on in life. You know? If you've got a lot going on in life, you don't worry and you don't let little things bug you because they're so small and trivial. Like, dude, who cares? There's a lot to like. There's a lot to like and love and enjoy in life, you know? Why worry about these little things, dude? EcoTank, Switch 2 has a bright 2026. Yeah. Real talk is more needed these days. Thank you. People just want to hate the hate, true. Because they have not a single clue on what's really going on, true. David Patterson, hurts to see what's going on. I hope that this community, David, is a good place to talk, and feel free to talk. I mean, y'all could talk about, you know, anything on your mind, and there's not a negative judgment or anything like that. It's an open space. It's a friendly community. If there's advice that I could give, I'd give it. If it's just an ear to listen to, you've got that too. And if it's just something to talk amongst yourselves, then go for it as well. If I don't have an answer, maybe someone in the chat will. So I don't omit anything that anybody wants to talk about amongst yourselves or with me. So religion, politics, that's fair game. As long as everything is always talked about respectfully in the chat, that's fine with me. If there's no hating on one another or negative slander, nothing like that, then that's all good. Overall, we try to keep it light and talk about gaming and comic books and superhero movies and stuff like that. But you know, whatever is all good. How long do Nintendo have RAM deals with manufacturers? Mark Lou, good question. We know Nintendo put out this projection in which they had to have certain deals lined up ahead of time for X amount of units that they already paid for, boom, at existing prices. What is that number though? Is it 25 million? So are they good until that 25th million Nintendo Switch 2, making the profit margins off of them that they need before having to renegotiate and the RAM prices and so on and so forth? Possibly. Does that mean that Nintendo Switch 2 will definitely go up in price this year? Not definitely. But is it possible? Is it likely? I'd say possible, yes. Likely, I don't know if I'm putting my stock that high in likelihood. We'll see, The Argonaut, hey Paul, hey there. Nintendo Dope Switch 2 is a silent super success. I've never seen a console break so many records in 6 months and so many people not even take notice. That's a jealousy and flu boom. That's true. Got Free Metroid Hat going live at 4 p.m. Free Metroid Hat live at 4 p.m.? That's awesome. 5 more hours? Well, depending on the time zone. Tabby Cat Games. No worries. I don't think anybody said anything wrong in here. That's all good. Everyone's good. Everyone's good. A new Zelda-themed Pro Controller for the 40th would be fun. Yeah. Ooh, Paladin. An all-gold, a solid gold Nintendo Switch 2 Pro Controller. Dang, we haven't had anything like that in a long time. We had a special edition of The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword back in the day with a gold Wii remote that I still have. There was a gold Nintendo Wii, just a gold Wii Pro Controller released, if I'm not mistaken, around the launch of GoldenEye 007 for Wii, 2010 or something like that. I remember the gold Nintendo 64 controller. Man, that thing was cool looking. Toys R Us special at one time. Yeah, I'd probably buy a solid gold freaking Pro Controller 2 with a little logo, The Legend of Zelda 40th Anniversary on it or something like that in white or red. That'd be clean. Dang, that'd be cool. Huddy 40 saying, are you playing anything currently? Yeah, I have 2 games in my active rotation, being Marvel Cosmic Invasion. Not every day, but a couple of times a week. My wife, daughter, son, and I are playing 4 players Marvel Cosmic Invasion. Super fun. And then every day, I have been playing a little bit of Ghost of Yote. Just hammering through that quest because I didn't beat it late last year. I'm like 60 hours or so into it now. I've been really enjoying that. So those are my two games, kind of. Terp Time, PGN. You gonna catch UFC on Saturday? Looks like a stacked card. Maybe. Next Saturday and Sunday, I've got two parties that I'm going to back. So that would be a no for that Saturday and Sunday. But this particular Saturday, I don't think I have anything planned yet. So maybe I might watch that. That could be cool. Dunsparce, hello there. My dogs aren't talented like Peach's. Peach, Paul's dog. Peach is pretty funny. A solid gold controller would cost millions, Paul. I don't mean a solid gold controller made out of gold. I mean a solid gold painted controller. I have a gold PS3 controller and it's great looking. If they made a gold brick Switch 2 Pro controller, I would buy that day one. Heck yeah. Yeah, I have the gold Wii Remote and Wii Pro controller. I love gold. Awesome. There was a gold Wii controller for Skyward Sword. Yeah. Sophitia. Paul, do you think we'll get a Switch 2 OLED? Would trade my Switch 2 for a heartbeat. You know, I think so. I don't know if it's going to come soon. Mainly because I think it's too early, in my opinion. And you might as well release it a couple of years in to reinvigorate hype. But I could definitely see like a Nintendo Switch 2 Lite, a Nintendo Switch 2 OLED model, both coming out sometime this generation. By the way, 65 minutes in, we reached our Nintendo 64-minute mark of the stream. We have $1 up on the board from Ash. We've got 61 people watching now. I think we've got over 30 likes. Big thank you for all of the support today, live on this stream. I was thinking it would be black, but replace the white on current Pro Controller with a gold and put the Triforce in the front of the controller. A gold controller would be awesome too. Paul kind of wish we could get colored carts like Ocarina of Time, gold cart, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, blue cart. Missed those on N64. Yeah, I like that. I still have my old classic gold Ocarina of Time one. I have my blue Tony Hawk's Pro Skater one. Yep. Yeah. I would have really liked a yellow cartridge for Donkey Kong Bonanza. That would have been so fun. Gold GameCube controller would look clean. I agree. Let's get the likes up. Heck yeah. 65 people watching. 34 likes. I think we could get another 31 likes up in here, right? Come on now. Thank you. Paul, have you played Kingdom Come Deliverance 2? No. I picked it up on a winter sale and have been blown away. That's awesome to hear. I have not played it. I'm glad that it's good, though. My only concern with an OLED Switch 2 is if there would be any problems with VRR. I mean, they have a couple of years before they would need to introduce something like that to reinvigorate, the console. So I'm sure by then they would further figure that out, right? I have a feeling this year is the year for a new wave race. Oof, I could feel it in the ether. I got this feeling Nintendo will give us some new versions of classic IPs. Oh, man. I would drop in a heartbeat $70 for a brand new designated wave race title. What I'm hoping, though, is for Nintendo Extreme Sports Racing, where you start off the game in an airplane. You jump out and you skydive. You're skydiving through rings, giving you a little bit of a Pilot Wings vibe. You land, parachute, onto the top of a mountain, and you start snowboarding down these beautiful slopes, in and out of trees, up a ramp, down a pipe, going down, giving you that 1080p snowboarding experience. Then you reach the bottom of the mountain, you hop off, do a flip, and you land on a Kawasaki jet ski. And then you go around the ocean, up ramps through the ocean waves. You make your way around this mountainous island zone, and you take this ramp, boom, going back onto the very island that you just went around, that you just previously went down in the snowboarding slopes. And off this ramp, you land onto a motocross bike. And then you're going over these mud, slush, and greenery, giving you that excite bike feeling. Off in the distance, you might be able to see some people still on that mountain slope. You might be able to see people over there still cruising through the waves. And you're sloshing through these little lakes and hopping over these rivers until you end at the finish line. And that's Extreme Sports Racing, Nintendo's new racing game. And it would be tremendous. It would be magnificent. And that's like a 9-minute race. 3 minutes per mega lap or something like that. You've got your 1080p snowboarding. I said 1080 degree snowboarding. We've been living in the pixel generation for too long. 1080 degree snowboarding, wave race experience, excite bike experience with a little bit of pilot wings to cap it off. And that's one track. That's one mega track. You give us 8 of those little islands and you've got 24 courses. You want to play just the snowboarding tracks? Just play the solo 8 snowboarding tracks. Just the 8 solo wave race tracks. Just the 8 solo motocross bike excite bike tracks. Just the 8 skydiving, parachuting elements above each island and the different set of rings that come with it. Or you play all 8, so that gives you 24 different experiences, 32 if you count the little bit of parachuting segments. So you've got your like 32 different experiences like that, or you've got your just 8 big different mega courses that you're playing through. Gosh, I love it so much. That's what I've wanted so long. Oof. I would just buy a new wave race or a new 1080 degree snowboarding or a new excite bike or a new pilot wings probably. But that, beautiful, beautiful game. Doesn't compete with F-Zero, very different. Doesn't compete with Mario Kart, very different. Doesn't compete with Gran Turismo or Forza or Need for Speed. It's very different. I say it doesn't compete because it's not like, oh, there's another racing game on the market. I could get that experience here. No, it's a very different racing game, and it's tremendous. I created this idea several years ago. It's on my YouTube channel, going back a few years, but yeah. Oh, I want that so bad. All right, let me see. Back to the chat. Totally missed the blue and yellow Tony Hawk's Pro Skater cartridge. Missed the mark with no yellow Bonanza cart. I know. Haven't played Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 yet, but Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 is one of my favorite games of all time. That's cool. Yeah, I did say 1080p. What other small changes would we like to see in a possible switch to OLED? I like how they improved the kickstand and added more storage in the original OLED. Yeah, maybe they would have to up the OLED model to like 512 gigabytes. Bring back Snowboard Kids 1 and 2. Those were good games. Legit a genius idea, Paul. That sounds awesome. Thank you, Huddy. Then Text 2 Dope. Thank you. Pokemon fan, Huddy. Thank you. Yeah. Nick 5515. Gosh, I just love my Nintendo Switch 2. More like obsessed. It's revolutionary. That's what I like to hear. I'm glad that you're a big fan of it. It's a fantastic system. Matt 21155. What's up? Then Text 2 Dope. I want that now. Terp Time. You sold me on it, Paul. Run it. I know, right? We need that game. Call it Nintendo Extreme Multi-Sportsathon. XMS. I mean, dude, call it whatever you want to call it. Just slap my name in the credits, like special thanks to Paul Gale Network, I'm good. They need to bring the Burnout racing games back. Burnout was a fun series. 1080 snowboarding was my jam on N64. Yeah. I'm obsessed, yeah. Love the idea, Paul. Add some extreme mountain climbing at the end of the courses to reach the goal. That way you get some ice climbers too. Yeah, dude. Like, ooh, you got a lot of fun in there. All right. Let's get back to hardware sales. It's been a while. Since we've discussed it. The best-selling console of the last 2 weeks in Japan, remember this is 2 weeks worth of data, not one, was the Nintendo Switch 2, with a staggering 313,838 units sold. Now, we don't have the breakdown between what those 2 weeks is like. It could be something like 155,000 one week, 158 the other week. More close, probably, I would say it's like, 190 to 123. But regardless, 313,000 to end off the year and to kick start January 2026 in the right powerful direction. PlayStation 5 and Nintendo Switch kind of neck and neck there. PS5 in second place with 46,753 copies, or units I should say, and Nintendo Switch with 46,360 units sold. Xbox Series in fourth with 281, PlayStation 4 in fifth with 25. If you compare it to last year, everything is down, and Nintendo Switch 2 is just new. So there you go. We don't know what the baseline will be yet for Nintendo Switch itself, by the way, in Japan. But, the system's already sold nearly 36.5 million. I think we get another million this year in Japan. I think you get another 2.5 or so million worldwide outside of Japan. So you're looking at like maybe 3.5 million. Nintendo Switch right now, if I had to estimate, we do know that it hit 155. So maybe like 155.2. Let's call it 155.2. You're looking at a 158.7. I think you something like 158.7 by December 31st, 2026. So then you only have 1.3 million to go. I'm telling you, not trying to brag, not trying to be cocky or conceited, nothing like that. Just, I do numbers pretty well. And my estimation was that by summer of 2027, unless if Nintendo stops manufacturing Nintendo Switch units, by summer of 2027, Nintendo Switch will hit 160 million in sales worldwide. And it's really looking up like it. It's really looking like it. It's going to happen. And I can't see there being less than like 30 or 32 million Nintendo Switch 2s for that matter by December 31st, 2026. So for those people worried that like, oh shoot, what if the Pokemon company doesn't release a Gen 10 Pokemon late 26, early 27 because there's not enough of an install base? I think the install base is going to be just fine. I think 30 million is very safe for NS2 by 12/31/2026. 32 million, something like that. I had to look more into it, but that's a very fair early thought. And then you're talking about like summer of 2027. Oh, it's just going to be that much more, The 40 millionth Nintendo Switch 2 will sell sometime in 2027. That's wild. That's wild. In less than 2.5 years of total availability? Yeah, pretty impressive. Let's see. What I'm hearing is Switch 2 sales is up 100% from last year. Matt, 21, 155. How long do you think it will be before we see a special edition themed Switch 2? I think before this year is up. Maybe something with Fire Emblem. If they want to help Fortune's weave out, they have a little bit of a color or something like that going on the dock. Some insignia print. Pokemon, Gen 10, pretty big deal. Maybe. Ocarina of Time remake, if it's a big granddaddy amazing remake come November. You might celebrate the dual nature of 40th anniversary of Zelda plus Ocarina of Time remake with something dock related. I'm not saying all of these, by the way. I'm saying like I could see one of these things happening, or a couple, perhaps. Splatoon is very big. Is Splatoon Raiders going to be big enough to get it? I don't know. Would Splatoon 4 be big enough to get it? Possibly. More so, perhaps. So I'm going to say before the end of this year, we get some type of special edition, if you want to call it Nintendo Switch 2, you know? With the dock being a little bit different, the console itself having a little bit of a color splash or something added to the back of the actual unit itself, held in portable form, or set up in tabletop mode, you know? Or unique Joy-Con of some capacity. Yeah. Just ordered an all-gold custom Switch 2 Pro Controller from Colorware. That's pretty cool, published too, for the 40th anniversary. I like that. I'm really curious if we're going to get any games for the 40th Zelda anniversary. I think we do, Huddy40. Huddy, I think we do. You know, I don't know if it's going to be everybody's dream come true of Zelda 1 HD 2D remake given to Square Enix to do. Zelda 2 The Adventure of Link 2D remake given to Way Forward to handle. Twilight Princess remastered remake to make it look like the E3 2011 Wii U tech demo of Zelda. Ocarina of Time remake. Zelda Wind Waker 4K 60 port. Brand new Zelda shown or teased. Don't know if it's going to be any of those. Certainly not all of them. But something's got to come. Something's got to drop from Zelda. Game related between February 2026 and August 2027. Something will come in that 17 months. Zelda game related. Not just counting movie, not just counting Zelda Lego diorama set between Link and Zelda fighting Ganondorf, but something game related. You know, I'm positive. I'd be very surprised if it didn't. Very surprised. Let's go Switch 1. I wanted to beat the record just so everyone will be proven wrong. Let's go Switch 1. Heck yeah, let's go Switch 1. 160. It's happening. Only way it doesn't happen if Nintendo just ceases manufacturing. Because it's going to sell another million in Japan. It's going to sell another couple million throughout the rest of the world. That's 2026, dude. You're going to opt to not sell 3.5 million of these units? Unless if it's cutting into your profit of what you could be putting your resources into Nintendo Switch 2 or manufacturing lines this way or that way. But why not sell another few million? You know? You've got new Nintendo Switch games coming. You've got Rhythm Heaven coming this year. Professor Layton. Tamagotchi Life. Deca Police. You've got at least 4 Nintendo Switch 1 games still coming throughout this year. Oh, and freaking Mega Man! A new Mega Man is coming in 2027. True. You're probably not going to sell brand new Nintendo Switches just to play that Mega Man game, but you'd want to have new systems still available for that kind of release, even if it'll look better, run better, etc. on Nintendo Switch 2. Come on. I don't know why there are still 160 million doubters out there. Unless if they think, no, I think Nintendo's going to stop manufacturing it. Okay. But then why? So 2027 summer, Switch 1 will outsell PlayStation 2. Yeah, Pokemon Fan 34. I believe so. I could be wrong. But when it comes to numbers, like I said, I kind of know my thing. But you never know. Red 3D Mario Switch 2. Ooh. Paladin, that would be cool. That would be pretty cool. I just want a gold Zelda Switch 2. Yeah. Copy cliche, but the gold editions were some of the best looking Switch renditions. Man. I had my Majora's Mask in gold also. My old Donkey Kong 64 yellow cartridge. I remember, I don't own it, but I remember renting it. It looked super cool. The Maximum Carnage, Spider-Man Maximum Carnage, Super Nintendo Entertainment System cartridge, all red, if I'm not mistaken. That was cool. And then there was a black cartridge on SNES. Was it Alien versus Predator or Terminator? What was all black? Oh, Killer Instinct had a black cartridge version. Ooh, is that the one I have? No, I don't know if I have a black one. Yeah, Killer Instinct had a black cartridge on SNES. That thing looked slick. Ooh. I like those special colored versions that come out. Pretty fun stuff. Ocarina of Time remake, please. Yes. John Castle says the Switch 2 install base will be 35 to 40 million by the end of 2026. That would be really good. I mean, I said super low effort is 3032. Like, it's not going to be any lower than 3032. 35 to 40? I would very much like that range, and that could be very well the range. The impressive thing too is Switch One is a this impressive thing too is Switch One is a dedicated gaming system and doesn't have a sales advantage of being a DVD player. That's true. Some will say it does have the advantage of being a home console and a portable console in one, but at the end of the day, that is still a gaming device primarily. That does have a little bit of a streaming component to it with the likes of Hulu and at one time Crunchyroll, but it is overall primarily a gaming device. PS2 was a gaming device that played DVDs, and for the early part was a DVD player that played games. It was almost the opposite was true, you know? Yeah. Is there a way to find out if Nintendo does have plans to stop making Switch ones? Like, do you have a source now? I mean, I have sources, but none that I have at the moment that'd be like, yeah, we're stopping manufacturing, you know what I mean? No. Is there a way to find out? Not at this time. If they do more simple HD remasters they could release on both Switch and Switch 2, that's one other way to keep support for the original. I think Turok was black on N64. Yeah. There was a game or two that was black. I think Turok Rage Wars was black. I don't know. I think Turok Dinosaur Hunter was gray. But Turok 2 or Turok Rage Wars was black, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I've looked at some of these carts. But yeah. Yeah, Majora's Mask Gold was nice. 3DS. I have that 3DS. That gold new 3DS XL. Steak, you're right. Killer Instinct. Yeah, I never played Killer Instinct. Always wanted to. I hope they put it on NSO. That would be cool. I have the Black Turok 2 cartridge. Cool. Had Killer Instinct for Game Boy. Cool. I had Pac-Man on NES, which was a darker gray, almost black. That's neat. Saying Kirby hanging in there is an understatement. I mean, I am happy to see that Kirby Air Riders is there, because it could have gotten lost in the holiday shuffle. It's not a mega big game. Like, I would say more people probably are looking forward to a Kirby and the Forgotten Land 2 type game than Kirby Air Riders. But it's great seeing Kirby Air Riders continue to succeed, because it could have not. Like Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, I didn't think it would stay on the chart long, but it's not in the top 10 anymore. Kirby Air Riders could have suffered a similar fate. I didn't think it would, but, you know, it could have fallen off. But Kirby's pretty big. Kirby's pretty popular. But is Kirby Racing primarily as big as Kirby? I would say no. Evidently, Hyrule Warriors is not as big as Zelda proper, but that we already knew, you know. But yeah, we got some good sales. Killer Instinct N64 is great. NSO SNES has Killer Instinct right now. JM Powers is shockingly surprised and very happy with this. AJ Rax is confirming it. Heck yeah. Turok 2 Seeds of Evil. Acknowledged cartridge. And 64 black. OMG. Killer Instinct is on NSO now. Ha! JM Powers 83. I bet you're happy right now. You coming in here? Man, I always want to play Killer Instinct. Never got to. Boom! Knowledge drop. Right here. That's awesome to see. Yep. THPS3 was a black cart too. Yeah. Yeah. Do you think we get another Dragon Ball Sparking Zero game at some point? I mean, we'll get more Dragon Ball. We will always get more Dragon Ball. Will it be like Sparking Zero 2, or will they redirect with a new name, a different direction? A Fighters 2? Fighters or Fighter Z, however you want to call it. That was a really good one. But yeah, I think we'll get more Sparking Zero or something else like it. Did Perfect Dark come in a different color on N64? I have the gray version. Same with GoldenEye 007. No, Perfect Dark was just the gray. It did have a box for a limited time that said something on it, if I'm not mistaken, like Collector's Edition, Early Edition, Launch Edition, Limited Edition. I seem to remember that. I could be wrong, though. There were a few green carts, too, like Rayman or Army Men Sarge's Heroes. Yeah, I remember Army Men games. And Rayman, for that matter. Good stuff. Perfect Dark is a great game. A remake of that would be awesome. Man, what a bummer that Microsoft canceled freaking Perfect Dark. It's supposed to come back. What a shame. How unfortunate. Honestly, how unfortunate the whole situation is with Rare. You know, that acquisition for $198 million or $421 million is something in that range, if I remember correctly. 190 to 420-ish million. Cost Microsoft a decent amount, but more important than anything were the IPs. You could have had a new Perfect Dark game come out one game every 5 to 6 years and really had a powerful pillar for the Xbox brand. You could have continued with Banjo-Kazooie, one new entry every 4 to 7 years and had another pillar for you. A Conker's Bad Fur Day game, a new one every 5 to 8 years and had something else that would establish recognition with it. You could have done a Jet Force Gemini once in a while. You did Killer Instinct. You could have had 2 or 3 in the last 25 years, though. A Jet Force Gemini, you could have had 1 or 2. A Blast Corps, you could have had 1 or 2. You could have done so much more with the Rare IP. And if the Rare folks that made the games moved on, you could have had other studios within Microsoft or third parties make it. But yeah, the original Perfect Dark, I loved it. And a full-on remake of that would be swell. They did release an up-resed version of it for Xbox 360, Xbox One. You could play it. Xbox One. Back in the day. Because Xbox 360 had 0 as a launch game. Man, poor Perfect Dark. Charles Trudell, Polygon Network. Question for you. I think that Japan sales were about 22% of the worldwide sales, right? How likely do you think we already have gone over 16 million worldwide? Yeah, Japan sales previously did make up about 22%. If you do 4 million, then we would, if the number is still accurate, like let's say 22% is still what Japan did. I have a feeling that Japan made up higher than 22% though during the holiday season. So I think it's, I don't know if it's like a third, but I think it's more than 22 this time around. But if it did do 22, then yeah, definitely Nintendo Switch 2 would be over 16 million, you know? Yeah. And good afternoon, by the way. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, the last N64 game, yeah. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 is one of those interesting games. It launched on like every Nintendo piece of hardware almost. I mean, N64, GameCube. Did Game Boy Advance have one? I'm not positive. Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2. Not every piece of hardware, but Yeah, 4 Nintendo consoles had Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. Spider-Man 64 had a red cart. Ah, that's right. Wasn't Everwild's also canceled? Oh, I love Conquer, Animan, F-Zero, C461. Hey, Paul, how's it going? F-Zero's not owned by Rare. No. Primal Rage, yeah. Oh, Everwilds. Is that canceled? I don't have that off the top of my head. Conquer on the 64, funny game, yeah. Primal Rage. Primal Rage was cool. I don't think you need the Godzilla IP, but Primal Rage, either on its own or with the MonsterVerse IP as a 2D fighting game, would be pretty slick, dude. Or a 3D arena-based fighting game set in different cities on top of ships. Oh my gosh, that's what we need. We need a monster base, a MonsterVerse, a 3D arena-style fighting game where you could fight on Skull Island. You could fight off of Skull Island in like the Pacific Ocean on top of these mega ships, semi-ship, semi-land, in New York City, in Las Vegas, in Los Angeles, in Japan, in South Korea, in Australia, in Egypt, in the Middle Earth, in the subterranean Middle Earth zone. Oh my gosh, we need a MonsterVerse game. Two players, up to 4, smashing through buildings and picking up stuff and punching, clawing, swinging tails, electric stuff, turning on environmental effects on or off. Oh boy, that's an expensive game to make. Dang, that would be cool. Woo! Give me a new Primal Rage, but I want that one too. Nintendo will surprise everyone making Diddy Kong Racing in a few years. That would be neat. C461 just subscribed. Big thank you, C. I appreciate that. Speaking of Rare, it would be interesting if Nintendo worked with Playtonic on a new Donkey Kong Country. Interesting. Paladin. LOL. That was back when most games launched on every platform. Fire Legend dropping that James Bond emoji. Looking good. Appropriate, given the GoldenEye 007 talk. Charles Riddell. Okay, Paul. I did the math. If it's still around 22%, that means that we're looking at 18 million. Yeah, that is, if that 22% holds true, which I don't think it did. I think Japan had a better than normal sales chunk than United States and Europe did during the last 3 months. Counting November and December, as a powerful part of those 3 months, obviously. But yeah, it would be 18 million. That'd be above my original 17.5 ceiling. Be awesome. We'll see. Monster Smash. Like you said, though, Japan did more, around 30% during the last 2 months, but also Japan was already at 2 million before that added to, so only half of 30%, half at 22. Yeah. So we are not at 16. We are very close to it, yeah. Paul, do you think Nintendo has asked Game Freak to bring Beast of Reincarnation to Switch 2? Good question. I don't know. I don't know what the conversation is behind the scenes with Nintendo and Game Freak on that. It's possible. I'm bad at Killer Instinct. Hey, keep trying. Ralph Taylor. They need to move the Switch 2 stocks for the US since nobody is buying it to Japan. Actually, Nintendo Switch 2 is selling very well in the United States. If you look at the Amazon charts, it was up there amongst the best-selling pieces of entertainment in the video game sphere in October, November, and December. Just because Nintendo Switch 2 sold second to PlayStation 5 in the month of November in the United States doesn't mean it sold poorly. It's like March of 2022 when PlayStation 5 was barely a year and a half old, and Nintendo Switch 1 was 5 years old. Nintendo Switch, in its 5th year, outsold the year and 4-month old PlayStation 5. Didn't mean PS5 was a poor selling system, just sold less well than Nintendo Switch in its 5th year on that given month. Take it back to November. Very similar. PlayStation 5 in its 5th year outsold the half-year-old Nintendo Switch 2 in that given month, in that given country. Didn't mean that NS2 sold poorly, just less well than PS5. Keep in mind, PS5 had a quite considerable 20% price reduction, from $500 to $400, making it less than, for the holiday season, a $450 Nintendo Switch 2. So yeah, it's different types of good, not one good, one bad necessarily. And Nintendo Switch 2, don't worry. When everybody in the world is talking about how much Super Mario Galaxy the movie did in its opening April 3rd weekend at the Blockbuster, shattering all records, more and more fever will come to Nintendo Switch 2. The hype cycle will begin anew. We'll have that Mario Day on March 10th. We'll have a February Nintendo Direct probably. Nintendo Switch 2 will have a very fine, successful 2026. They've already got like 27 games on the horizon that we know about, many of which are exclusive or new games coming day and date, like Resident Evil Requiem and Pragmata, as they will be appearing on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and Nintendo Switch 2. And exclusives as well. So, even if they're not selling out as fast as hotcakes, as fast as they land on U.S. shelves, they are still selling. They are still selling quite well. It's still the fastest selling system in North American history up to this point. Fastest selling system worldwide at this point. Japan is just outperforming other countries. But let's see how 2026 unfolds, Stores have plenty of stock. That is good. Get these stocks out there now before possible RAM price increases affect Nintendo Switch 2, Can't just relocate stock from other countries to Japan. Japan is Japanese only. They do have one of the soft lock region, and they could lower the price there. They have 2 versions in Japan. A cheaper one, Japanese only, and a worldwide reading one that's more expensive. But yeah. Alrighty. Woof, what a stream. Man. Awesome conversation. We got one new member added on, bringing on our total to 386 members. Big thank you. Thank you to Ash for that $1 contribution for that one new member. We at one point had like over 60 people watching. I think Nintendo 64 people watching at one point. We've got 53 now. We're going to end the stream in a minute. We're ending the stream, unless if someone likes it again, with 47 likes. Big thank you all. Some slowdown in sales was expected at some point. The first few months were so meteoric. Yeah. Byzantium, thank you for the stream. You're welcome. Thank you all for being here. All right. Whew. What a fun day. What a fun stream. That was a good conversation, especially after the last 2 conversations being really good PGN lives, but being on a little bit of the shorter side, like kind of barely hitting the hour. It was nice to stream for an hour and 43 minutes today. So y'all have a good rest of your day. Take it easy. And I'll probably see you tomorrow morning for more PGN